Stardew Valley Expanded is Stardew's most popular mod with millions of downloads, and I just completed 100 days. Of course, my goal is perfection, so in helping myself reach that, I have a couple of plans for the next 200 days. First, we will try to get max hearts with every single villager, get all of the animals and star drops, and lastly, open all unlockable areas. This is not a lot of time to do that, so let's quickly get into it. We continue off on day 113. I know I somehow skipped 2 entire days last time, so my numbers were wrong. Whoops. When I left my house for the day, I got a Kent cutscene, as he is back in town with his family, which of course just means another person I have to gift now. I went to start getting my farm ready, but apparently this isn't the only farm I have to deal with, as going into town, Lewis told me about the community garden. I would love to talk about it more, but I do not use it once throughout this entire video. Going by Pierre's, I get a quest for talking to everyone in town, so after grabbing some parsnips and a bunch of crops I need for cooking in my shipment goals, and hitting up the desert shop for crops as well, I go and hit people up. Obviously, at the end of the day, starting my new moneymaker, planting starfruit in my greenhouse. Day 114 is a Tuesday, meaning a gifting day. So I grabbed a load of things, which also really helped in trying to complete my talking to people quest. But speaking of quests, I got 3 interesting cutscenes. The first one being Magnus talking about sealing his ex-wife off in this little cave. Now I have to get back the magic ink she stole. Great. The next one was Marlon inviting me to join the guild meetings, which I obviously said yes to. And not really related to a quest, but when I went to see Andy at his place, he officially cleaned it up. And he's making money now, so pop off, guy. At 9, I checked to see how many people I talked to and got pretty sad news. Oh, it's Victor! No! No, 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 no! There's no way! I'm restarting. Yeah, I redid it, and actually completed the quest this time, as well as ended my day asking Krobus about the Dark Talisman for the wizard, which unlocked the mutant bug layer for me. Completing that friendship request really helped me out, because on day 115, I had so much mail. And of course, cutscenes. I like that all the moms in town convene together. I think it's super fun and cute. They obviously want to let me in, but yeah, I don't have a kid, so. Finally, I made myself complete the summit quest. It was super easy and will be fixed soon, but the rest of my day was spent getting materials to make more furnaces. The morning of day 116, I did some work on the farm, like putting another legendary in my new pond, and getting some more starfruit planted. When I walked into town, however, I got a cutscene of Sophia who was crying over a grave, but it ended there, meaning that I need to go talk to her, which I did not do. I instead made some tree farms and ended the day. Day 117 was pretty quick, getting a Susan cutscene, checking out the new summit, and the swamp, which is all new looking in the expanded mod. Couldn't stay there for long though, as it was a little too late. Day 118, I had some parsnips done, and went to go spend some money, like buying some more pigs named Sunkissed and Brisk, as well as getting a shed put on my farm. The last half of the day was spent making my farm a little prettier. Sunday, day 119, was of course spent gifting as many people as I could get to, which helped for day 120 as I got numerous cutscenes. Again, where Shane was struggling on the cliff. And I got a little lore about Andy. His friends Jerry and Elizabeth used to live in the abandoned vineyard in the forest. He talks of how the market hurt a lot of people he knew and that the farmers really struggled for a bit. Sadly, it got too much for him and he had to head back. At the end of my day, fishing to complete an aquatic overpopulation quest. Next morning, I woke up to Shane apologizing for his actions the other day, which honestly made me miss marrying him. I'm sad. But that wasn't the only cutscene, as I got one with Victor in the graveyard, reminiscing about his lost cat. That makes me even more sad. I love cats. hopefully we can find it. While talking to everyone in town, I gave this random dude in a van a rabbit's foot, gaining more luck, and ended my day. Day 122 was the day I returned to the swamp, wanting to get the fish I needed, but I seemed to be struggling with all of the mobs coming at me, sadly leaving with nothing and doing some of the end of the day chores. I continued those chores on day 123, like breaking open a ton of treasure troves, luckily being able to donate a couple of them, which obviously helps with our star drop goal, but obviously it was time to go back to the swamp. I stayed near the entrance this time, picking up a crab, void salmon, and alligator. How cute. Finally taking myself through the swamp maze. Yeah, I looked up a route. But once I reached the top right, I found a teleporter that led me to a more memorable site. A goblin. Now I gotta find a way to get rid of him. Passing out above my house at the end of the day. Heading to see Marlin on day 124, I got a cool cutscene where Gunther was asking for someone to escort him in the mines. Of course, I came just in time, making me the prime candidate, so we set a date for tomorrow morning. After that, I got myself some void mayonnaise, as goblins love that, I guess, and went to the swamp. He took the bait completely, running off, allowing me to get the magic ink that Magnus needed. So, why does he have a portal that leads all the way to his ex's house? That's a really weird thing to do, sir. I took my jealous ass upstairs where Magnus kinda pissed me off again. Why is he saying this? And got access to some new farm buildings. At the end of the day, I made some lightning rods for a hopeful storm in the future and finally went and got myself a mastery, choosing farming as my first one. Day 125, I looked in my mail to find a very interesting letter. Huh? What did I do? That's awkward. I didn't realize that Yeah, a goblin lost his job because of me. And I would help, but I have prior commitments in the mines with a little archaeologist. Being the brave explorer I was, I guided us to a complete treasure room, really wishing that I could steal some stuff, but apparently I couldn't. Leaving the mine, I did not realize it was the egg festival, so I stopped by to get some strawberry seeds. Otherwise, I straight up left, not even doing the hunt, and ended my day planting the crops. Day 126, Gunther sent me money for helping him yesterday. Hell yeah, that's a lot of cash. And officially got to harvest my starfruit, allowing me to get started on a very, very small keg shed. It was Sunday though, so I spent all of my time gifting people, ending the day with a lot of people pretty close to full hearts. Whoa! Whoa! What? Okay, thanks. I guess I didn't know we were like that close. Yeah, I randomly got my 4th star drop on day 127. Not only that, I did not remember the desert festival, which I don't really plan to do, but I decided to do it for today only. I got up to some fishing activities, received some legendary clothes. Get it? And took on a quest for the cavern. A quest I thought would be easy, but it surprisingly took all day, even with as much luck as I could get. Okay. I'm in bed, but whatever. I tried. I said I wasn't gonna do the desert festival, but I do want free clothes, so I got those, did a quest for Pierre, and finally decided to go see the goblin in the swamp. Because we took the ink, our little henchman now sleeps on dirt since he got fired, and he needs us to help him get back on his feet, with a little quest of a lot of forageables that I thought would be pretty easy to get, because they are in fact everywhere, but that does not negate the fact that there are still mobs. Okay, so I thought I could kill it before it did that. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna move, but this game's very, very slow. Sadly, I spent the rest of my time tapping some trees and went to bed. I woke up day 129 getting the spring onion cutscene and a new Andy cutscene. Out in the woods, he takes me to have a talk next to the waterfall, admitting to me that he wanted him and other farmers to take over my grandpa's land. Kinda messed up, but he's now proud of my accomplishments and thankful to have me in his life. After that cutscene, I got a couple of tasks, like getting an outfit at the festival, hitting up Clint, and went to go forage in the swamp for the goblin. Ah, why does it do so much? What? What? Did I not have that much health? Ah, wait, I had important things on me. Oh, my spicy! Oh, wait, I need those. Yeah, I don't have a good track record here. Waking up day 130, a little sad, but it didn't matter, cause I went back in there, successfully getting everything the henchman wanted, ending the day fishing in the mutant bug lair, only catching 2 new fish. Finally, it is a storm day, oh my god, meaning that I can finally go to Ginger Island when I get lightning rods out. It only took me, 19 days. Henchman actually also showed up at my door, super grateful for my help, and is now unlocked as a giftable player. Yay! I went back to the bug lair to catch the snatcher worm, the last fish in this area, then heading to the witch's hut to try and catch some there. Yeah, this is not happening. Going to bed, surprisingly, in my husband's bed. Walking out of the wizard's tower on day 132, I got a cutscene of Krobus and a Junimo. I tried to follow them, but I got lost, so I'll definitely have to go back at another time. I want to say today was exciting, but other than an Olivia cutscene and Shane cutscene, I was mostly excited about finishing this god dang boat. Obviously took my new batteries to Willie and went to bed, cause I was really excited. Couldn't go too quick on day 133 though, because my crops were done, as well as the bookseller being in town. But once I was done, I beelined straight for the beach, making my way finally to Ginger Island. I, of course, scared off a kid, my bad. And as I followed him further in the forest, I basically got told that I just have to make him warm up to me. And hopefully over time, he'll see how cool I am by getting a crap ton of golden walnuts. No joke, I grabbed so many. So much, in fact, I was able to open up the East Island. East? That's west. Oh my god, do I not know directions? I fully wrote down east. Not really having any walnuts to do anything else though, so I had to end my day there. Day 134 was a little too busy to head over to Ginger Island because of things like Community Day, where literally everyone gathers in town, making it the best day to go and gift people. Of course, only after I gifted and talked to everyone, I looked at the help wanted quest to say hi to everyone. So I tried as hard as I could, picking up another quest along the way, and getting a cutscene of Sophia. She seemed to be in an abandoned room crying, and didn't want to talk whenever she noticed I was there, but as I was leaving, she stopped to ask if I wanted to watch anime with her, and I said yes to hopefully cheer her up. At the end of the day, I got more talking done and went to sleep. Day 135, I had Starfruit done, tending to that before going to talk to everyone in town. Of course, the last person I needed was Victor, but I did it. Ending the day by picking myself a fishing mastery that I will definitely need for Ginger Island. That I couldn't go to today as it is the flower dance, and I wanted the rare crow, so I danced all happily in my garbage hat with my husband and went to bed. Crazy thing to wake up to, Day 137. Oh god. But before heading to Ginger Island, I had some strawberries done and a Victor cutscene. He told me all about his fears for the future and his mom being disappointed in him for not having a job. A little too relatable there, Victor. But once that pep talk was over, I headed to the island, starting by getting a farm set up for more starfruit production, getting some walnuts, and some pretty cool fish to add to my master angler achievement goal. Except for the shark. Absolutely not. Day 138, I finished up my farm more on Ginger Island, adding some speed grow and getting all the walnuts I could even remember, which was a lot. Thank God somebody made a Google Sheets. Then I went up to this peculiar woman on the beach. This is Birdie, who I will be doing a long, drawn-out quest for, as she gave me a war memento because she thinks I can do something with it. Sure, I guess. Ending the day opening up the island house and sleeping in there. I got a lot more walnuts on day 139, and most of them were actually in the volcano. A volcano that I remembered to be decently hard, but I don't mean to brag or anything. I got through it so easily. And when I reached the end, I got a cutscene of someone new. Oh, I choked on my Dr. Pepper, I'm not gonna lie. I have seen a bunch about this character, but I don't know what they do. Oh, wait, I didn't know my name! Ew, gross. Why? He just disappears. Ew. This is someone I will be seeing a lot more of, as they are now giftable. So, yippee. The last day of spring started with some parrots building me a bridge to a cool little bone zone and helping this researcher out of the cave. His name is Professor Snail, and he was obviously grateful, inviting me to see him in his little museum, which I actually had some stuff for after mining the bone nodes, and even getting some walnuts by doing his little survey. The latter half of my day was pretty boring for being the last day of the month, but I went to sleep knowing I'd get a lot of money in the morning. First day of summer, I got some interesting news. Oh, what? Wait, this is so exciting. And a suspicious cinder snap forest scene, all for Lance to then show up at my door and then give me his schedule. But I guess that helps when I need to find him on my gifting days. Obviously, I would go to the wizard's tower first thing, but we do have some chores to do, like getting all the crops situated with, so I can prepare for cooking all the recipes. And after that was done, I headed to the tower. Magnus says that he created a potion to help me gain more magical knowledge, though a very strong taste, I can now summon warps. So we head to the north of my farm, and the wizard helps to set one up. Look at how cute it is. Basically, I'm able to fast travel now. Thank God. This is not the only cutscene I have though, as I needed to check out the abandoned vineyard. Going inside, there was an interesting scroll that I couldn't quite understand, so I asked Magnus, who also couldn't understand, which is why he called for backup. Hi? Who is this? Okay. Mood ruined. What is with the nickname? Basically, a baby Junimo wrote the note, and they're asking for 200 starfruit. Lucky for them, I actually grow those. So that just adds on a new quest for me. At the end of the day, I received a new lizard and went to bed. Day 142, I created a warp on my farm, which is pretty nice. And on my way to Ginger Island, picked up a little request from Andy. While at my farm, I planted some crops that the frog was asking for, then headed to see Leo. Luckily, this time he actually talks to me, meaning I have a new friend to make on the island. I opened up an island trader with my golden walnuts, but obviously I need more. So I headed to the volcano, where I got many walnuts and an artifact for the island museum. Going to bed pretty successful. Wednesday, day 143, I got up to many quests. First, taking this battery over to a suspicious hole in the tunnel, and from there, it wanted me to take a shell to this box at the train station. Alas, I couldn't finish the rest of the quest because I don't have 10 beats, but it will be continued soon enough. On my way back, I said hello to Lance, who was in the town for the day, and got working on making some fertilizer for a Susan quest. 50 to be precise. So yeah, it kinda took all day, collecting some things I needed for Andy's quest, and then going to bed. Since it stormed yesterday, I had some batteries to pick up. Hell yeah. Then I went to Andy's, where I actually got a cutscene. He showed me an old image of the vineyard, and even another person in the town, basically reminiscing about the whole thing, ending our talk going out to eat. I finished his quest and quickly headed to finish Susan's as well, but of course I got another cutscene with her too. Because of this cutscene and helping her out with crafting, I now have cheaper casks, kegs, and preserve jars. At the end of the day, I finished with harvesting some starfruit, planting some beets, and heading to bed. I know it's not the usual day, but I did some rounds chatting to people on a Friday, specifically to move along Birdie's quest. So I take the war memento to Kent, who recognizes the photo and gives me tomato salt, which I obviously give to Gus, and he gives me a flower. That's annoyingly where I left off with the quest, but managed to speak to a ton of people throughout the day, even getting a house upgrade. What? Okay, weird. Okay, so it is Martin's birthday, but I don't get to see Martin today because I don't have the missing bundle done to make the movie theater. So I think I'm really gonna have to work on getting the missing bundle. No, you know what I can do? Okay, I really don't want to because it makes me a decent bit of money, but we're gonna make it a sturgeon pond. I have a sturgeon. I can totally do that. So that's what I did. Ooh, a new sturgeon pond. I actually went over to Sophia's where I got a continuation of an old cutscene where she shows me her parents' room. We talk for a little bit and she tells me she's happy to have me and Scarlett as friends, but now I have a different cutscene to get to. I find my man on the beach, and we have a conversation about him wanting to give me something in return for the mermaid's pendant. I would just like to let it be known, I gave him a mermaid's pendant within 1 week of dating him. Like, we were together a week before I was like, let's get married. But for real, he puts us in a bubble and takes us all the way to this water temple where a mermaid comes and gives me a bracelet. How cool. What? Sadly, the rest of my day wasn't that cool as I spent my time fishing for island fish and avoid salmon for the missing bundle. Day 147, I get all my eggs together to go and gift people today. Finally getting to hand Sandy this rose to further that quest, in which I was able to give George a remote out in the middle of the street. I couldn't finish it though, as I wouldn't see the wizard until later, and I got in a little cutscene of Olivia annoyingly going through Victor's things and finding out he hasn't found a job yet. They have an argument, but luckily everything is resolved because he has a passion in life, building bridges, and is actively pursuing it, ending things with a nice, happy family again. I woke up to a new house on day 148, and of course to a high quest. So before I started that, I got my house upgrade, then I gave the wizard the shard, which I had to take to Willy and then back to Birdie. Finally completing that quest, all the while still talking to people. Day 149, however, I had some starfruit done on the island and needed to plant those. Afterwards, continuing my talking, even getting a Sophia cutscene where we clean her parents' room, thus ending my day finishing the Help Wanted quest. Hell no, absolutely not. I got the sturgeon roe I needed on day 150, so I took him out and put my legendary back in. And really the only other important things are finally getting enough starfruit for the Aurora Vineyard bundle and putting another fossil in the Island Museum, gaining another level of understanding. Day 151 was a quick little luau day. This time, I thankfully managed to bring a top quality item, getting the best response from the governor. Kinda just ending my day in the quarry. Some crops were done on day 152, and not only that, but my caviar, the one I needed to put in the missing bundle. I quickly went and got a new mastery, the combat one, specifically to give me trinkets, and headed to the island, gaining a mailbox, more walnuts, and now done beets. On day 153, I put the beets in Lewis's fridge, gaining another quest, but not the one I needed to do, as it was Alex's birthday and I do not have a good gift for him. So I tried my best to make him a complete breakfast, luckily managing to max his hearts because of it. After that, I finally went to the vineyard where I met our new friend Apples, a baby Junimo that loves starfruit. And starting tomorrow, I can gift this little guy. The morning of day 154, I got Scarlett at my house telling me I could visit her at any time. I really wish I remembered this. I don't for a very, very long time in the playthrough. I did a little bit of gifting, but it was mostly finishing the key quest of giving this dragon essence and finding a club card at my house. We sadly have no reason to go to the club at the moment though. I planted more starfruit and actually used my new fairy dust to finally get myself a silver quality wine, completing the missing bundle. Thank God. I get another cutscene during my morning, but it's just Marlon asking to talk, where we discuss creating a warp to the guild, which is gonna be pretty nice. So I gather all my magic or whatever and get that done. Now creating my second warp. Not the final cutscene though, as he asked me to bring him stuff for his boat so that we can go to the Highlands. I just don't have all of that at the moment, so can't really do that. Before I spend the rest of the day mining for those materials, I got some fir trees planted so I could get fir wax for the coop I wanted, cause it is very, very expensive. Day 156 was gifting day, so I quickly went to the movie theater getting a cutscene. And what I love about this cutscene is that Claire was feeling bad, so Martin asked if she could hang out at my farm for a bit, but instead of me taking her, he took her and I had to watch the counter at the movies. What? But of course, I managed to gift Martin afterwards. Not only that, I had fun, but a pretty gross cutscene with the henchmen. Don't try swamp food, I guess. And actually enough, collected everything I needed to complete the grandpa's shed, which Robin was obviously grateful for on day 157, but it won't be fixed for a bit, so instead I went to Apples, where I actually was able to set up a warp right in their basement. But it's super convenient for me. And collected all of my materials to fix Marlon's boat, finishing that quest and needing to see him again another time. The green rain came surprisingly late in the year on day 158, so I spent my entire day chopping trees and cutting fiber. Although my new shed is done on day 159, I don't really need to use it right now. Robin did also tell me on another day that if I got her stone, she could also build me a bridge to the shed, but not right now. I beelined straight to the island, harvesting all of my starfruit and getting to show the frog all of my crops, gaining a lot more walnuts. Finally, getting to build the pavilion with them. And the rest of the time I had for the day, I spent in the volcano. Since the pavilion is open on day 160, I collected many walnuts, also putting up this mineral in the hidden area, and finally being able to unlock Key's room. Even getting to see how much progress I made towards 100%ing the game, which is not that great. But the rest of the day was spent in the volcano, where I sadly passed out outside of. Went back to my farm on day 161, where someone was at my door. Lewis came to ask me if I wanted to expand my farm, and yeah, this looks like a lot of land that I'd like to take. So I'm definitely doing that soon. But I now have the Highlands open, so I decided to travel down there, meeting Lance, who tells us all about the area and how he wants to do a survey of the plant life, which is now something that I have to do. Yay. I know there's some fish here, so I make my way through the place with tons of mobs and try my best to fish what I can, but it's really not as easy as I thought, so I pass out in the Highlands mines. Day 162 was pretty quick with a Victor cutscene talking about his bridge apprenticeship plans, which is super exciting for him, and buying the deed for the land beside my house, which is not ready today, but that's fine because I do need to give people, especially the lower heart people, using the rest of my time getting my greenhouse prepared for ancient fruit instead of starfruit. Picked up a little fishing quest on day 164, as well as upgraded my hoe. And now that I have all the fur wax I need, I bought myself a special coop to get more animals and chucked it next to my greenhouse that I also moved since it was so far away. Late at night, planting my fruit as well as seeds from the highlands that Lance wanted me to assess, and then putting up more fir trees to hopefully get a special barn done quicker. Day 165, I got some really good books from the bookseller, worked on Willie's fishing quest, and then went to bed. Day 166 was also pretty chill, getting myself a key quest and finding a new spot in the forest. Yeah, there's a little sauna back here, and maybe in the future, I can set up a warp. Wink wink. I gathered up my things on day 167, heading to the desert to fulfill my Skull Cavern invasion quest. Luckily, not doing too bad, and even completing one of my monster goals in the process. Ending the night by getting a Sandy cutscene. Sunday, day 168, I stayed up gifting people, getting my hoe and upgrading my water bucket, finally getting to make that warp I talked about, and before heading to the island, picked up a fish I needed for the Master Angler achievement and headed over. I finished the tropical fish request, replanted my fruit, and headed all the way home, kinda abruptly ending my summer season. I start off the fall season by getting my farm ready for various amounts of crops that I would get, but I got a cutscene going into the town. The cutscene was Camilla being a nuisance and putting a new type of fish into the water, a catfish, if you will. Weirdly enough, after that, I got drunk with Pierre, told Claire she should join the ladies every Tuesday for exercise, and watch Sophia and Scarlett make wine. Finally, getting my crops, picking up a mastery, and heading to plant everything at home. I put tappers on my newly grown fir trees on day 170, collecting my watering can, then upgrading my hoe, and then getting a really weird request on the board. I decided it was time to head back to the highlands for the fish I was missing, making it through the mine relatively unscathed, collecting the gemfish, but of course, dying in there right after. That did not stop me, however, as I ran right back, not to the mines though, a different, more hard to see section where I would fish up the diamond carp, and of course, pass out. Weirdly enough, passing out in the highlands put me on Ginger Island. Okay. Going back to Pelican Town, however, I got a super cool cutscene of Kent deciding to join the guild, which I think is really cool for his character development. But my new coop is done, meaning I can get a goose to help along with my animal quest. And ended my day. Picking up my iridium hoe on day 172, I stopped by Willie's to get things to help me in my fish collection goal. First going to the swamp where I struggled a lot, but finally got the fish in the end. I'm not gonna lie, that made me want to kill myself. Yay! It's done! Trying to get the kitty fish, but it was too late in the day. Day 173, I got to donate to the Island Museum, gaining another walnut. Also having some new Highland crops done, just waiting for the last one to take to Lance. I ended my quick little day with a Olivia cutscene in the pub with a bunch of people. I finally got my little kitty fish on day 174, and also finally started on my grandpa's shed, planting some starfruit. After that, heading over to Ginger Island, getting a Lance cutscene. That was a little too tense for my liking. I am, in fact, married. And since it was an even-numbered day, I got to spend the night playing darts in a little pirate cavern to get some walnuts. I had many people to talk to on day 175, so I took myself around town, thankfully finishing the dwarf's hearts, and even getting a new warp to the secret Junimo area. I finished my night first with an apples cutscene, and then a Martin cutscene. I cannot handle the tension, bro. You have got to do something! This sucks. This is actually the worst thing I think I've ever experienced ever. Ah! Ew! Ah! How cute! What? Claire, I'll beat your ass. Don't do this to me. What an awful way to end the night. Ugh. Day 176, I got yoinked by Camilla and taken to my warp area, where I was then taken to the Crimson Badlands. That, yes, are very, very crimson. So now I gain a new warp, my last warp, and can now visit whenever I want. Like now. I visited now. Just to say hello to Lance before actually going to the Highlands and getting the last fish I needed in that area. I had some cranberries done on day 177, so I dealt with that and actually decided to head to the Badlands. Because yes, I have 2 fish I need to collect, but collecting them was a lot harder than I thought. Only collecting the undead fish before this happened. Bro, literally how? Literally how? That did not deter me, however, as I went right back in, collecting the bonefish and hightailing it out of there. I haven't really said it, but oh my god, this mod for me is so busted. The game crashes all of the time, which is not super fun. But what is actually fun is hanging out with apples. Psych, I accidentally said no. I did not mean to do that. Instead, I spent my time on Ginger Island with my crops and also got the extended family quest. Sadly, not being able to get any fish before I ended my day. But before I continued that on day 179, I finally had enough fur wax to get myself a premium barn. Now, I just have to wait a couple days for it. Of course, that gives me time to grab those extended legendaries like the Son of Crimson Fish, Miss Angler, Legend 2, Radioactive Carp, and the Glacier Fish, completing the whole thing. Going to Ginger Island on day 180, I completed the shrine area, getting some walnuts, and ultimately spent my time in the volcano looking for a certain ostrich note. Many things were done on day 181, like completing Marlin's weird bomb request, finding out that Abigail hangs out with apples, and now getting Leo in the town officially. Later in the day, collecting a spine for the museum, and getting more kegs for my little shed. Second cranberry harvest on day 182, and also the last monster crop that I needed for Lance. But when I went to take them, I got a cutscene with Marlin based off of the bombs that I collected for him. Apparently, they were great, and now I get decorations from them, I guess. Ending the day giving Lance those crops and gifting people. Day 183 was spent looking again for notes in the volcano, sadly not getting what I needed. Fun enough, day 184 was the Stardew Valley Fair that I actually got everything I needed from last year, so instead I lost all of my shit betting my points away. Not even kidding, I was raging like crazy and just went to bed. My premium barn is finally done day 185, meaning I gained a bunch of new animals, like a goat named Calypso, camel named Fresca, sheep named Bargs, and more soon. At the end of the day, collecting my last mastery, redoing my star fruit, and selling a crap ton of items. I worked pretty hard on my ancient fruit on day 186, and heading to Pierre's, I got a Claire cutscene, doing her workouts, and then heading to the pub together. The rest of the day, I actually got the skull I needed for the museum, upgraded my watering can, and used my newly obtained furniture catalog to decorate a bit of my house. After collecting some crops, I went and got a quest from Sophia that I actually worked on immediately before ending my day at the island, putting up that skull, and dealing with my now done starfruit. Day 188, I picked up a Junimo cart quest, very bad idea, dealing with my keg shed, but ultimately spending my day decorating. As it was a Sunday, I spent my time chatting with people, even getting a henchman cutscene, where we are now friends. I successfully completed Sophia's fairy quest, not realizing that it was the final day for Junimo Kart though, so I sadly decided to do that. I really thought it would be easy, since you know, I've done it before. Taking in total 2 real-life hours, I finally managed to do it. but didn't even remember what my plans were for the rest of the day. Stardew Valley, of course, broke again on day 190, but Sophia was super happy with her flower garden, which is so nice. But ultimately, I picked up my watering can and just spent the rest of my time in the volcano. It was Tuesday, so I tried to talk to people, but Leo and Linus made that pretty hard. Still managing to talk to a bunch of people, and even got an apples cutscene where they decided to throw a little party. Day 192 was spent in the volcano, still looking for that stupid ostrich note, but completing a monster slayer goal. Annoyingly, continuing the same thing on day 193 with still no note. But I got luckier this time on day 194, getting the note and immediately getting the ostrich egg that I needed. But I completely forgot I needed an incubator that I can only get by completing the island museum. Ugh. But since I've done so much mining, I finally got to complete the stone request from Robin, hopefully getting myself a new bridge soon. Really glad I did that on day 195 because I'm sick of going all the way around just to get to my shed. But of course, I harvested and replanted my star fruit, filling up my kegs as well. Then taking myself over to the wizard's tower because I actually have enough to get an obelisk, though I surprisingly got a wizard cutscene. We talked about my impressive magical ability and that he'll be making dinner for us later at the night. But afterwards, I got my obelisk and spent the rest of the day at Spirit's Eve. Because yes, that was happening. And no, it really wasn't that fun. It is now the last day of fall, but it really wasn't that eventful. Just talking with people and getting this Lance cutscene because of the monster fruit I was able to get for him. I then replanted my crops on the island and put away a ton of things in the bin to get a really good amount of money in the morning. The first day of winter, day 197, started with realizing that Scarlet is no longer in the town, and I am so far from being able to be max hearts with her. I think maybe I'll be fine on the others though. I went and picked up a mine quest from Keys, completing a monster goal and ending at floor 17. Day 198 was a Tuesday, so I made sure to talk to everyone I needed to, pretty close on a couple of people. And before going to the mine again for the day, I went and donated some artifacts to the normal museum, only having 3 left, ending the day at floor 27. Wednesday, day 199, I got a request from Clint to give him 30 gold bars. Who does he think he is? I am not that rich. But sure, I guess I'll try. Obviously spending my time in the mine, even though it's taking longer than I thought, ending at floor 55. How? I only had 1 sheep. What? So yeah, Barks Jr. is on the farm, I guess. Both day 200 and 201 were spent in the mines, pretty close to finishing, but not having enough time. So of course I finished that early morning of day 202, then took a lot of my treasures to get assessed at Clint's, because yes, to get one of my last star drops, I need to complete the normal museum. I just have a little bit left to get. Day 203 is when I actually thought, for once in my life. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought I kind of screwed myself over with Scarlet, because I was like, oh no, I can't talk with her in the winter. Yes, I can. I just have to go to her house in a different city. So I'm gonna try my best to see if I can get her to max hearts, but we're a little low at the moment. I think I can get everybody else up. Everybody else is in a fine condition. Like, surely they should be fine by the end of the year, but that's a long way to go. So I'm gonna probably end up using my star drops. I got a cutscene seeing Scarlet in her town for the first time, but after headed over to give her some gifts, spending the rest of my time gifting others, even getting my hearts up with Lance, meaning I have a new cutscene where he takes me to my last unlockable area, the Fable Reef, meeting all of his little guildmates and ending the day. Waking up day 204, Magnus told me I can get to the reef by using his Nexus. Thank you very much. Afterwards, quickly dealing with my starfruit, ignoring the ice festival, getting a little board request, and going to the reef to get some of my last remaining fish. Why was that so easy? Oh, that makes me mad. That was the easiest catch of my life. Are we joking? Ending the night with a cutscene of the henchman visiting me to tell me to go see him in the morning. So I did, where he showed me this new path by his house with a couple of shrines. Shrines that I, in fact, do not need to use, so I'm off to do other things. Like visit Scarlet, who was working on a cosplay, and going to the island. I really need that last snake tail to be done with this island museum, so I'm trying my best, but sadly not getting it. I did get a new quest from Keys though, and bought some more items. You know how I said I still had some animals left to get? Well, one of them was obviously the ostrich, but also I have to get a bear. Yeah. I can now get a bear on my farm. And I named him Crush. How cute. I again tried for that stupid snake vertebrae, not getting it, but being able to get the torpedo trout from the reef and the legendary I needed from there, now officially only have one fish left to get. I got really lucky with some geode openings, meaning I just have one artifact left and a couple more minerals. Continuing with that luck, completing a bunch more things, like getting the vertebrae I needed for the island museum, collecting the ostrich incubator, giving Clint those 30 gold bars, giving Gunther 100 bones, and ending the day. Clint came to my farm on day 208 to tell me he's clearing a path with the gold bars, I guess. I had my first ancient fruit harvest, working on a key quest, but never actually finishing it, so oh well. Day 209, I checked out the clearing, now getting a sauna. I also checked out the desert to try and get my remaining artifact, but of course not getting it. And wasting the rest of my time again in the mines. But that mining was pretty useful on day 210 because I got more geodes to go through. Officially completing all of the minerals needed for the museum, just having that one stupid artifact left. But it's fine, because I got to gift a bunch of people today, upping the heart counts, and going to Fable Reef to try and get that last fish. I struggled a lot, but I did it, earning my Master Angler achievement. Waking up day 211 to getting my fishing star drop. I think that deserves a sub. Or whatever, you do you. Even though it was a Monday, I was really excited, so I was gifting a bunch of people, even getting a cutscene of Scarlet and one of her dads fighting each other. Oh boy. But now only being one heart away from maxing her out. I still had no luck with that desert artifact. Instead, I took this quest for Emily to give her some rocks, thinking I didn't have an emerald, but no, I'm just stupid. Ending my day actually getting an infinity blade. I am rich enough day 212 to get myself another obelisk, gaining the 2 out of 4, messing around with the colors on my farm, and finally not being stupid and giving Emily the emerald that she wanted. I did my usual rounds day 213 in my shed with the starfruit, getting a new fish pond, and spending the rest of the day looking for that stupid artifact. Of course, no luck with it either on day 214, but I did have starfruit done on the island, as well as finding out I actually just have one golden walnut left. My ancient fruit is also done, as well as my fish pond, so I threw the legend 2 in there and started up on another one. But obviously, what do you think I did for the rest of my day? Yeah, struggled. I worked on my farm a bit day 216 to make things a little bit easier to navigate, as well as collecting my starfruit wine. Entering a new fish on day 217. Now all of my ponds are legendaries. But it was a Sunday and I only have 1 heart left with Scarlet, Henchman, and Apples, so I obviously hung out with all 3 of them, leveling up Apples and the Henchman, finding out he actually has his old job back, but still just having 1 heart left with Scarlet. Ending the day, obviously, not getting the artifact. Or on day 218. So instead, I actually spent my time working on monster goals because I was super close on a bunch of them. This was the day I was waiting for, however, as early morning, I managed to get that stupid palm fossil. Officially completing the museum. Thank you, subscribers. You really did this for me. And honestly, just chilled out for the rest of the day on Ginger Island. I woke up morning of 220 to Gunther telling me they're gonna have a showing at the museum and that I should definitely come. So I did. Look at all the hard work I put into this place. Only up from there, cause today I also got max hearts with Scarlet, meaning I have max hearts with everyone and officially completed all of my goals for the challenge. So I ended my day chilling on the farm. It is Christmas day 221, giving Robin lasagna for her present, and in return getting a tea set from Pierre. I've still got some monster goals to do, so I went to the volcano for that, hoping to get my last walnut as well, which I indeed did, and finish the magma sprites goal. But going to Keys on day 223, I was a little confused. I have max hearts with everyone, yet I'm at 97%. Okay, I'm definitely missing something. I upgraded my shed to house more kegs that I would like to get, and to help more with that, I actually decided to use the community garden. Yep, the garden I thought I wouldn't use is now a tree farm. Honestly, pretty good idea in my opinion. But now it is the last day of the year where I had some things to do on the island, but ultimately had nothing else to do but collect all of the products that I had been saving on my farm to sell, which was a lot, going to bed with over 1,000,000 gold to my name. This isn't the end though. I still have another 100 days to get perfection, and obviously that money will help. But what will also help is subscribing to the channel. I love making these videos and I still have many more planned. So I hope I'll see you again for the next upload.